So let's begin understanding the version control system. Like yesterday, we have learned and we had got a high level or a big picture of what is DevOps, right? So today we'll get into the version control system, like what is a version control system, why you need a version control system and all. Let's get started. So today we'll talk about what is a version control system, what are the different types of version control system, architecture of version control system, and the Git architecture, and then the Git setup, and we'll begin with the basic Git commands. That is the agenda for today. So like I said, let's begin from the beginning. Let's try to understand what is a version control system. Anyone, any idea on what a version control system is? Anyone would like to share your inputs? Are anyone using it? Some of you might be using it or aware of it. So, anyone would like to share the inputs?
So normally we'll develop the code and we'll check in the code. Okay. So we keep on getting updates. We are checking into the code into the repository. So there the system will be maintaining the versionings actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
type for every check-in there will be one version will be generated, and so if you want to retrieve that particular code on particular version, based on this version we can use that one.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the input, Rakesh. So let me talk about this with respect to some examples. Let's suppose there's a project and people are working on multiple files. So they have some shared location to store these files. I'm talking about a use case without version control systems. Okay, they have all the project base here, multiple people like person A, person B, multiple people are working on sharing the work in this shared location, some shared folder or shared drive. So let's suppose A has to make some changes on file 2. So A got his the file downloaded to his local. B also want to work on the same file. He also got the file to his local computer and then making a change. Right? So A made the changes and A put this file back on day 1. A put this file back on day 1. Day 1 he put this file back. Right? So B also put the file back, let's say on day 2. Okay, he completed his work on day 2. So he placed his changes pushed his changes on day 2. So after day 2, like finally file 2 will have which person changes? Both of them got the file at the same time into their local computer. Then A made some changes and put it back on day 1, whereas B kept the file on day 2. So this file 2 after day 2 finally will have which person changes?
File to b person.
Person B changes, because what's happening here, person B is overwriting changes of person A. Correct? Person A
Yes.
changes are being overwritten. B doesn't know this. He's not doing it intentionally. Similarly, A also doesn't know this. So if this keep on continuing, because multiple people will be working in a team, so they might be working on the same file. So if those changes are pushed, like if multiple people are pushing those changes, what happens to the project? Project may get corrupted, messed up at some point of time in reality, right? So how to handle this scenario? Means how to allow multiple people work on the same file simultaneously at the same time. How is this possible? Can we manage it manually? Can A go and check whether his changes are protected, safe or not? Can every person do that manually? Everyone will have their own requirements, like the functional requirements which they have to develop, work on, and they'll be working on focusing on that, right? They cannot manage or manually see that their code is secure, right? That's one thing we have. Another thing is, let's suppose, okay, something went wrong till 7 o'clock or till 7:30 application is working fine, something went wrong at 7:50 a.m., right? So business is going down, we are asked to immediately put the revert or remove the changes that went in recently, right? So we need a system which can provide detailed logging, like, okay, at 7:30 person A made changes on file 1 on line number 8, which is causing this impact, right? We need this kind of detailed history of what changes are going into it, right? Like changes are happening here on, let's say, yeah. So here we need a complete detail logging, details of which person is doing what, right? This kind of detailed history will help people understand what changes are happening. When in the reality, when it's a huge project and multiple people are working, this is very essential. Again, which is not possible manually. We need a detailed logging system. Also, let's suppose, okay, there is a file one, it's a version one. Okay, now client came with the new requirements, modifications to make version 2. Don't ever rewrite or edit the version 1 and make version 2. Always maintain backups. Maintain a backup, maintain a backup, and create a version 2. Because after some days, if version 2 is not doing fine, they may want to revert back to version 1, right? If you have edited and made version 2, you cannot revert it. So maintain versions of the changes or backups. These are all some of the important parts of what a version control system should do. Allow multiple people working simultaneously, allow logging, allow maintain backups versions. Right? So this is what a version control system does. Is this much clear, everyone? Any questions from anyone?
No, ma'am.
So, right, this is what a version control system does and who uses it. It is very obvious, it's mandatory for developers. Who else uses it? See, version control system can help us manage any sort of files. It could be any program files or simple text files also, or any configuration files. Anything can be version control. So even QA people uses it to manage their test scripts, test cases. Even Devops team uses to manage their configuration files. It need not be just a program file or a code. It could be the configuration files, right? So everyone or anyone in IT should learn version control system to manage their projects. This is one of the aspects of version control system. There is another aspect like you integrate it into the pipeline. We'll come to that part. First, we'll learn version control system with respect to managing the files, managing the work. Then we'll talk about from the perspective of integrating into the pipeline, right? So first we will talk about the general purpose of managing our project work by allowing multiple people working simultaneously, by allowing a detailed logging, by allowing versions, backups. So everyone in IT should learn it. Developers uses it, QA people, DevOps teams, everyone uses this. It could be any file that can be version controlled. Any static file can be version controlled, right? So that is the reason for learning this. You might be having a question, why should a DevOps engineer learn? Because it is all code which is managed. Like I told you already, I answered this question. Like any configuration files, like your Kubernetes configuration files or Terraform, Kubernetes manifest or Terraform configuration files, all of them can be version controlled. So that is what, like, who uses it. And then let's talk about different types of version control systems. Based on the architecture, they were categorized as centralized version control system and distributed version control systems. So what is centralized version control system and what is a distributed version control system? All right. So what is a centralized one and what is a distributed? Let's go through one by one. So this is the centralized version control system. Centralized version control system, as the name says, there'll be one central repository or remote repository, which would be like where every collaborator would be connecting to, like developer one, developer two, or DevOps engineer. Like each one will be connected to the central repository, get the changes from here, make the changes, and put them back. Right? That's how central version control system works. Right? So everyone will connect to it, get the changes to their local, make changes and put it back. This is how centralized version control system works. What is the drawback for it? It looks very simple and clean, right? The drawback is you need to always have the network connectivity to keep the work going. So for some reasons, if this network is disconnected, entire work is halted. right? So always the networks too should be stable. That's the first disadvantage. Second one, it works like a single source of truth. Means all the code base, all the project work is kept here. If for some reasons the central server is crashed or lost, entire changes are lost. It just works like a single source of truth. And these are the challenges of centralized version control systems. To overcome these challenges, okay, by the way, what are all the tools work under this category? SVN, TFS, Perforce comes under centralized architecture. Good. So, to overcome the challenges of it, there came another version control system called distributed. In the distributed version control system, this is the remote repository or central server, and this is the workstation of each collaborator. Each collaborator means each user. If you are talking about development team, yes, developers. If you are talking about DevOps team, each DevOps engineer, right? So it depends on which project you are talking about. So each collaborator will have a copy of this remote repository. This is remote repository or central repository, and everyone will have a copy of the remote repository into their workstation, which is called local repository, right? So again, they don't directly work on local repository. There'll be another folder called working directory where actually they make changes, move them to local. From local, changes will be moved to remote. Only once all the changes are ready will move to remote. Majority of the work happens in the local repository. Means they have to access their hard disk, that's all. So this is quite faster, right? Because they have to just access the hard disk. And even though network is disconnected, they can still continue work on local. You need network only to move them to remote or get them from remote, which are less frequent. These are less frequent operations because you move your changes once complete work is done, or you get the changes once in a while, right? So majority of the times you don't need network connectivity, so which overcomes the drawback posed by centralized version control systems, first one. And second one is you majority of the times work on the local repositories, right? Also it's faster, network issues were resolved, it works faster, and then also if the central server or remote repository is lost, everyone is having a copy of it, so back recovery chances are high, better recovery chances. So that's how it eliminates the challenges of centralized version control system, and distributed version control systems help you resolve these issues. Git and Mercurial fossils falls under this category of distributed version control systems. Got it clear? Is this much clear for everyone? Understood?
Yes.
So this is how distributed version control systems work. And yeah, we are using or learning Git. Majority of the modern DevOps projects use distributed version control system, which is Git. Okay, we will learn these commands. Okay, we will talk about pull, push, lot many commands are there. Here, understand the architecture and the flow. We'll deep dive into the commands in our due classes. There are dedicated sessions for Git, almost four sessions, where we'll learn Git completely from basics till advanced. And also, then we'll integrate it into the CI/CD pipelines. Hope this much is clear for each and everyone. Any questions, feel free to unmute and speak, or else you can put the message in the chat window. Appreciate your quick responses. Can I go on? All right. So yeah, here is the comparison of different version control systems from Google Trends. This is taken from 2020. You can also get the latest one compared with SV and TFS fossils. Git is the clear winner in this category. Do you see that the blue graph is for Git? It is so widely used. So if you learn Git, you have chances of chances to work on majority of the projects. Also, if you are ever placed into SVN or TFS, they work with a similar analogy, similar concept. So it is self-explanatory, and with self-learning, you can just use other tools. So master one tool under each category, and the version control systems will master Git. Now, we understood the architecture of centralized version control systems, distributed. Now, let's get into the architecture of Git in particular. So, like we understood, this is the local repository. Okay, local workstation of individual developers. And within that, we'll have some local repository. Right? Again, like I told you, we don't work here. We work on some other directory or folder called working directory. From working directory, can you move your changes this way to local? This is not possible. Then how do you move changes to your local? First, you need to move them to something called staging area. What is staging area? Staging area is also called as index area. It's a virtual layer actually. So first you have to move your changes to staging. From staging only they'll go to local repository. Right? From local they'll go to remote. It's like a 3 steps before your changes goes to remote. Is this much clear, everyone? From working directory to staging area to local repository to remote repository. This is called Git tree or Git architecture, and that's how your changes navigate from each area. So you might be having a question. And by the way, one more important thing, unless your changes move to remote, if they are in local, they are just confined for yourself, right? Only once you move changes to remote, then only like others can see or visualize your changes. And you might be having a question like staging area. What is the importance of staging area? Do we have any importance of the staging area? Why we should have the staging area or index area?
So that we can move our changes to we can staging areas to make our changes ready to push it to the branch.
Okay, yep. It's like a preview or a pre-check before your changes goes to local. Means, for example, we'll use it. We are going to see all of these areas practically in few minutes. But let me tell you, suppose there are 10 files in working directory. You want only 5 files to go to local. You will add only those files into the staging area. Understood? So that's how it works. It's like a preview or a pre-check right before your changes goes to local. We'll see practically the importance of it once we start the hands-on, but that's the purpose of it. It's a virtual layer. Index area or staging area is a virtual layer.
So, Preeti, one question is: will this git add, git commit, and push these steps, right? Is it particular to one? Will it be different in different organizations, or like will there be a third party through which we will give a task ID and then commit the changes?
This is the Git architecture and the concepts of Git. This is same for any organ. This is not organization specific tool. This is a generic tool, so open source tool, and these are the concepts for Git anywhere. Commands wouldn't change. These are the commands anywhere.
Right. Okay. And also, when you say 5 different files, so out of 10, 5 files, right? So these files, do we select these files and mention them only in git add, or individually we git add them?
You can do either ways. I'll show you those things in the hands-on, like how we add actually.
Okay.
So this is
Can
how
you please explain that slowly? We cannot understand.
Okay, which part you missed?
But what is the staging, working directory, local repo, remote repo? We cannot aware of these things. No.
Okay, okay. Now you understood index area on the preview staging area.
Not it.
Okay, just let me ask, how many of you did not understand? I want to see so that I can repeat. Can you just raise the hands who did not understand? You can raise the hands. No one except Sai, everyone understood it thoroughly. All right. Okay, Sai, let me explain for you. So working directory is some folder. Okay, local repository is where you have to make your changes to push your changes to remote. Right? So first you make changes into your working directory. That's the first step you have to do. Let's say you want to create a file, you have to do it in the working directory. Then you have to move them to staging area. Staging area means a virtual area. It's not any physical directory, it's a virtual space where you move your changes to staging. How do you move your changes? We will learn it. Just understand first you have to move to staging. From staging only you have to move to local repository. That's a path of how your changes moves in the Git. Any questions in this part? Sai, can you confirm? Any question in this part? This is how your changes move.
No changes.
From working directory to staging area, from staging area to local repository. From local repository, they goes to remote repository. This is how
Okay.
your changes move. So now that we understood how your changes progress through, let me help you understand or an important and interesting point. We were talking about working directory, local repository, right? These are physically the same folders, physically the same folder or directory. If it is same, how come you call them staging area, working directory, isn't it? They are same physically, logically they are different. Means how is it possible? Let's see. Let's take an example. This is a folder or a directory, whatever you call it. So this is the working directory. The same is the local repository. But when do you call it as working directory and local repository is make difference. Suppose you created a file or just copied from somewhere and put a file. Then it is said to be in the working directory. If you run the command git add on that file, how do you run the command we will learn. Then it is said to be in the staging area. Okay. Suppose if you are committing those changes, then you call it in the local repository. Understood? Otherwise, it's the same folder. It's the same folder, same drive.
So, Preeti, so local repository and like remote repository are two different things, right?
Tell me.
I just to so can anyone pick my changes from local repository also?
From local repository, no. That's what. Unless you move your changes to remote, no one else will see your changes.
So
That
these
is
are specific changes only committed in our
this is
PC.
confined only for yourself. That's what is this box. This is your workstation. This is your workstation. Right? Unless you move them to remote, no one else will see those changes. Any more questions here?
No.
So based on the architecture, if we want to move to the remote, compulsory the files should be in the local repository, even the same working directory, but it should architecture will be considered. If it is under the local repository only, it will move to the remote area. Am I right?
Correct. But here the thing is, local repository working directory is same.
Both are same.
This
Yes.
is the folder.
Yes.
Okay, you have to run git add, git commit,
Add.
then only you can do git push. Means whatever changes git committed, those only can be pushed to remote.
Any file formats will be having extension, something like that for this. Suppose if I'm created a dot to text, okay, I want to move this a dot text into the remote area. So if I run these commands, then that format, any extensions will be added to this file.
Will not be added.
Okay.
This is the architecture of how working directory local repository works. And there is another important and interesting point I would like to tell you here. How do you create local repository in your laptop or in your workstation? How do you create local repository? How do you create local repository? Local repository can be created in two ways. One is through Git init. Git init means it will create an empty local repository so that you make your changes and push to remote. This use case is for new projects. Let's suppose a new team is formed, new project is created. So there's nothing on remote. It's a fresh one. So you create locally, anyone can create a local repository, make their own changes there, then push to remote. Other use case might be it's a quite old project. Okay, then you copy from remote and create a local repository. Right, copy from remote and create a local repository. Understood? So copy from remote and create a local repository, then make changes here, and that's how it works. So we will take up both the use case I'll cover. First, today we'll get started with this use case. Assuming it's a new project, there's nothing on remote. So we'll create our own empty local repository, develop some changes, files there, and then move to remote. This is the use case we'll be getting started with, assuming it's a new project. Are we clear?
Yes, Preeti.
So, and also remember one thing, the concepts of Git, the commands, the architecture wouldn't change. Not only for Git, for any tool, either it's a company A or company B or whatever it is, the concepts, the commands, the tools wouldn't change. What changes is the platform changes. They might be using on Linux or Windows, or else the platform changes, the remote repository URLs changes, that's all. The concepts remain same. One who knows the concept can survive in any project, in any company. So that's the reason for teaching all of this basic stuff. Generally, in my experience, I have seen many people using Git, they use Git, they work with Git. They wouldn't know this architecture or the concepts at the back end. Then what is the problem? They're working fine, right? No, the difference comes in when you are able to troubleshoot when situation comes in. There would be scenarios, there would be escalated tasks, priority tasks, which can be solved only by the expertise people, only by the people who understand the concepts thoroughly. That's where the difference comes in, and that's what companies are looking for. Companies are looking for such people who have the expertise in and around of the tool. Just running the commands, you can Google and get the command and do it. But the core concepts are very important, which I am stressing on today.
Preeti, one question. Like when we from local repository, when we push the changes, right? So will the changes directly push to the branch, or will there be a person who is reviewing the changes and then he's doing the merge?
Abhishek, I would like to park this question for the later classes. We did not talk about branch yet. We did not talk about remote repository also. How do you push? So let's keep that, park this question. Okay, we'll go step by step. I'm just talking about the architecture. How do you move the changes? Then we'll pick up what is branch. Then we'll pick up remote. Then we'll talk about how do you push, and how it is approved on remote. All of those things come step by step. So please park your question until then.
Right. Also, cherry picking the changes also will be then.
We'll go through it. I'll not do the hands-on on it for different reasons. We don't use cherry pick at all, but I can help you understand it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So this is the architecture of Git. Now, Git works on which operating system? Git works on multiple operating systems, like it works on Windows, Linux, Mac, and so on. It works on multiple operating systems. Like I told you, commands, concepts, everything remains same whether it is Mac or Linux or whatever it is. Irrespective of the operating system, commands, concepts, everything remains same. Only the difference is setting up the tool, installing the tool differs. So now that we understood the theoretical part, let's get into the hands-on now. First, let us set up our Git, then let's start version controlling. Let's create a local repository with Git in it, and let's learn the local repositories thoroughly before we go to remote. Good to go? Any questions? And another point, another reminder for every one of you. Keep this architectural diagram in your mind. This architectural diagram should be in your mind throughout whenever you are using Git. Okay, and this is available in the LMS as well. Let me show you. You might have all got the trial access of your LMS, right? And also people who ever registered, I think majority of you got the actual access because like people got enrolled. So let me go to the actual access itself. So when you log into your LMS, here is the program you would see. And today, whatever I'm covering will be under this Git section. The recording will be posted here. Go to Git. This is the recording that will be posted. I'm showing you the previous batch. Similar to December, you will have a new one. Recording will be posted here and the lab exercise here. Okay, go to the lab exercise, quiz, the interview questions relevant to the particular day. All these three should be completed today. Of course, I have to go through. Hands-on is not yet done, but just showing you. You have to complete the Git interview basic questions today. The quiz and the, sorry, this is this is the hands-on. So here are the steps of how do you download everything which I am going to do today. Okay, so you don't have to worry, save the commands or anything of that sort. So keep going with me. Now, how do you install Git? You have the URLs, everything, but this is the best way. Go to Google and put Git download. You will see something like this. Install here. Windows, Mac, Linux. You will see different operating systems here. If you see Windows, you can download the exe and run the exe. Hope you all know that, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. If it's Mac, brew install Git. If it's a Linux, depending on which operating system you want to use, you can go for it. If you still need further help on Windows, like downloading and all, if you go to your LMS, here is the lab notes. Lab notes is where you have all the steps I'm explaining with the screenshots. Here, if you go to the module 1, Git. Okay, so, okay, that's a module 1. Here is the presentation which I'm using. Okay, whatever presentation I'm using, it's there for your reference. Not only that, class 1 Git installation. Okay, here are the steps. Particularly, sorry, if you are looking into installation on Windows, here are the steps with the screenshots. Okay, download the executable, run the executable, and just hit next. That's all. It's a self-explanatory and self-service. Just you hit next. That's it. Even though screenshots are available, even then it's pretty simple and straightforward. Screenshots are available. So you can set up your Git accordingly. Okay. So here I'm using Mac, and if it is a Mac user, launch your terminal. If it is Windows, launch your Git Bash. How do you launch Git Bash? Here I have given the screenshots. Go to the start menu and run Git Bash. A window will open where you can run the commands. Or if it is on Mac, yes, go for your terminal and check Git. I already installed it with homebrew command, so I have Git installed. This is the basic installation, which is very simple and straightforward. Any questions from anyone on the setting up of Git? Can I go ahead?
No questions.
Right. So Git is installed now. Okay, fine. Git is there on my system. I want to version control some files, some project. So you go to that project, go to that folder or create some folder. Actually, I would like to create it on my desktop. So I went to desktop. See, I'm using CLI. CD means change directory CLI. If you are not comfortable with the CLI, we'll teach the Linux command separately. If you are not comfortable with the CLI, you can use the GUI. Like go to desktop like this. Okay, right click, create a folder. You can do this. Okay, anything is fine because here we are learning Linux, Git, not Linux. Okay, create a folder called Git demo. So creating a folder called Git demo, right? So it's an empty one. See, I just gave name as Git demo. You may give any name to this folder. One second. Okay, so I just went to desktop and here I want to use this as my project Git demo. So went into this project, but it's an empty folder, right? Fine. Now I would like to keep all my project files here. So means I want Git to version control this particular directory. So I want to make it as a local repository. How do you make it as a local repository? Like the first use case. Assume it's a new project, there's nothing on remote, so I would like to use this. So what do you do here? Git init. Whenever you do git init, you see it is initialized .git. And also here you can see .git. Right? If you are seeing .git in any folder means it's a local repository. ls-a means shows the hidden files. In the folder also you can visualize it. Say .git is created, a hidden one. Right? Means this git demo is a local repository. This git demo, the same git demo is a working directory. Is it making sense? I told you, right? Physically, it's the same folder. Okay. All right, fine. Now let us create some files. Again, you can right click and create it on the GUI. I am using CLI to create a file. I am creating some dummy text files because here is the intention is not to learn programming or not to create some Kubernetes manifest files, which we are going to do in the later classes. For now, our focus is on version controlling any file. So I'm creating simple text file. Touch is a simple Linux command. We will learn Linux command separately. So you can create it from the GUI also. I just created a file. Okay, fine. File is created. Now, can you tell me where is this file? Is this file in the working directory or staging area or local repository?
Stage,
Local
local area.
repository.
Working directory.
Okay, if you want to confirm where it is, run the command git status. Ignore all of this, just come here. Untracked. Git knows there is a file, but it is not tracking. It is telling you git add to track. Means, can you tell me now where is the file?
Local directory.
Working
Where is
directory.
the file? It is asking us to add. Please add it. So it's not yet added. Means where is this file?
Working directory.
Working directory.
Like I told you before, if you just created some file means it will be in the working directory. This git demo, same folder, physically same folder, right? Logically, we call it as it is in the working directory. Okay, fine. How do you add it? Git add file name. Done. Now, where is the file? Can anyone help me? Where is the
Staging area.
changes to be committed? Changes are not yet committed. To be committed means where is it? To be committed means they are in the staging area, virtual layer, or index area, right? So now what you have to do if you want to put them in local git commit minus m. M is mandatory, means some message, some comment, so that you can understand what these changes are for. Git commit message is first file, so it's done. If you see the status, it is clean. Clean means what does it mean? File is there in the local repository. Understood? Physically same folder. Only one,
Yeah, okay.
only one folder. It works as a working directory, staging area, local repository. This is the concept which everyone should have clarity with. Git is a very simple, interesting tool if you understand it thoroughly. If you don't understand it, it would be a nightmare. Learning Git in the proper way is very important. You need to have crystal clarity. Hope this is clear for all of you. Let me repeat the same.
Clear.
Let me repeat the same with another file so that you can get the flow. Now tell me, I just created the file. Where is file 2? ls will list the files in the directory.
Working directory.
I want here answer from all the participants. Where is the file?
File
Working
is in
directory.
working directory.
Working directory. You can confirm its status untracked because it's a new file and it's not added to staging area. It is giving you clue or a hint to add it. You can also run git ls files. Git ls files is another git command which lists the files in the local repository. That's why it was listing only this one. Whereas ls will list files in both working directory. Sorry, ls will list the files in that particular folder. Whereas this command will list the files in the staging area and local repository. Do you see the difference? So it's untracked. Sai, are you following and good?
Yeah, following. Good.
Now tell me, where is this file to?
That is file to untracked files.
So where is it? Is it in the working directory or staging area, local repository?
Working directory only.
Working directory. So do git add file 2. Now it shows that changes to
Now
be.
it is staging area.
Yes. Now do the git commit minus m. Let's say files 2 or second file, some message I'm writing. Right? That's all. Now if you do git status, it will show you the working tree as clean. Perfect. This is the path how it navigates to local. From local, how to go to remote, we will learn in the next class, not next class also on Wednesday, because we have lot many things to cover before we go to remote. We have a conflicts in local, we have branching in local, we have merging in local, we have stash in local. We'll cover all these concepts before we go to remote. Okay, so please wait before we go to remote. All right then, so now you can see all the changes. All right, one more thing. Whenever you run a commit command, a commit ID will be generated, right? So you can see the history of the commits using git log. See, every commit will generate this alphanumeric hash code, which is unique. And also, I told you, right, you will see the person who made the changes at what time, Monday, December 8th, 19, with the commit message. So you will see the history of commits this way. This is what the logging I'm talking about some time back. Right? So this is where you see your changes and uh, yeah. And also this commit message is important in reality. Let's say you might have made this change 6 months back. You want to know, okay, what this change is all about. So this message will give you a hint of like what changes were these related to. It could be a development project or test project or a DevOps project. people will leave the message like what changes went in there. Is it a Kubernetes manifest file? Is it Terraform configuration to create EC2 instance? All of those things. Okay, so that's about the log. And if you want to see a simple log, not a detailed log, git log one line, just first 7 characters are enough. Okay, and then the commit message. These are the simple commands we have learned till now. Git status, git ls files, git add, git commit, git log, git log one line, and of course git init. Any questions from anyone?
No questions.
Typically
Uh,
all.
Preeti, while committing, we are giving options that are mandatory um, information, right? So any other options that we have while doing the commit? Instead of -m and anything we can.
-m is for message. This is mandatory. Others are not mandatory options. You do have other options like yay. We'll see those options.
Okay.
But M is the only one which is mandatory.
For message.
Message is mandatory when you're committing your changes.
Okay.
And you can see that this is the folder, right? You can also see this way in the GUI. This is your Git demo. My project where I am managing this, this is a local repository. I'm saying .git means this is the local repository or working directory. Shall we proceed to the next use case, next scenario, if everyone is good?
Yeah, continue.
Till now, we were just creating the file, right? It's not always about creating. We may be modifying the file, editing the file, right? So let's go for edit the file. Let's suppose I want to write something. Okay, it's opening in the notepad. I place some dummy text. Like I told you, the content or the file format is not important. So I just added some line. Make some modification. See, remember, Git works with respect to the changes. What is meant by change? Change could be change meaning it could be creating a file. Okay, one second. Git works with respect to changes, right? Changes meaning it could be creation of a file or delete a file or modify a file. It could be anything, right? So we have done till now creating a file. How about modify the file? Yes, we'll do that. Again, whether it is creation or deletion or modification, your changes will pass the same way. Like first from working directory to staging area to local repository. That's how your changes would navigate. So I made the modification. Can you tell me where is that modification sitting? Where is that modification? I added some line or edited some line, whatever, some modification.
In the
Where,
working directory itself.
how do you confirm?
Because we didn't add the update
Ignore
in.
this one. Ignore this DS store. The Mac system defined file. Please ignore it. Now, yes, it is in the staging area. But do you see the difference in the message? Changes not staged. Earlier, what was the message it was showing?
This time also untracked files is there.
I asked you to ignore that, right? That's a system defined file. Ignore that part. Our changes are in the shown as unstaged. Then earlier it was showing like untracked file. What is the difference? Both are in the working directory only. Okay, we have to move them to staging area. But what is the difference? Just think about it. Meanwhile, yeah, because it is in the unstaged, working directory, git add this file. Okay, I'm not doing it. So what I should do? If it's untracked, what would I do? Git add, git commit, same thing. Here also I should do the same. Git add, git commit. But untracked is for new files for the first time it will show you. This is for modification, not a new file. Already file is in the staging area, isn't it? Only certain modifications. That is the difference. In both the cases, you have to do git add, git commit. Here also you have to do the same. But because it's not a new file, here you have an option to commit and add and commit with a single command. Like I told you, right? With a flag -am and the message. A means add and commit. You can do either ways. But you cannot do this for new files, untracked files. Got it now? Understood, everyone? You can add and commit separately, or else because it is an unstaged change, you can also commit and add with a single command with a -am flag. Is this much clear, everyone? Got it right?
Preeti, just a question. So what you did is, you there are two files. In one of you committed these files.
There
Now
are
these
those
are in
files. File 1, file 2, okay.
file one, file two. In file one, you committed these files. Now these are in local repository. Now what you did is in first file again you added some data, and
Right.
then you're checking what stage it is. Right? That is a question.
Correct.
Okay. What would be the answer? I didn't get it.
You are seeing this one. When you do git status, you are seeing changes not staged, unstaged changes. But earlier
Uh,
you were seeing them as
hmm.
untracked, right? So what is the difference is what I'm explaining. Untracked, you will see if it's a new file. It's not there in the staging or local. If it's for the first time, you will see it as untracked.
Okay, because I did the same. It is when I say hit git log, right after I added the change, I am saving the file, and then I do git log. I am not getting anything as I'm just getting the commit ID and the file message that I've used, but
Why
it
are
is not showing.
I did not use git log. Why are you using git log there?
Then okay, status. Okay, my
Listen
mistake.
completely. Okay, please listen thoroughly here. Do the hands-on after the class. Okay, otherwise you are missing the flow. Whatever I have explained,
Right,
I
right.
don't think you got.
Yes.
Please listen
Yeah.
the
Okay.
listening part now and do the hands-on after the class. So unstaged, untracked difference is it clear for everyone?
Yes, Preeti.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now you can do git add and then git commit separately, or else because it's not a new file, I can add and commit with a single command. Git commit add. A means add. M means message. File modifications. Right? Now if you see, yes, if you do status, it's a clean. Ignore this, I told you. Right? There's a system default file. Ignore it. So all of those files are in the, how do you know? All of those files are in the local repository. See, git ls files, both the files are there. Understood? And also git status is not talking anymore about file 1 or file 2. Means they were all added. Got it clear, everyone? Understood the difference between unstaged and untracked changes? There'll be again
Got it.
of confusion between these unstaged, untracked changes. This is how you should understand them. Important from the point of interview also. If I want to test the interviewer, if I want to test the candidate for the concepts, like whether they have the concept or not, not just the commands. Commands, you can Google it. Anyone can get the commands. What is the command for git commit? I don't prefer asking such commands. Rather, I would ask what is the difference between unstaged and untracked changes. Right? Command is fine. You can just Google it. Give me the command or ChatGPT or so many AI tools are there to give you the command. You can get the command and use it in the project. But only when you know the difference between unstashed and untracked, you know how to deal with those changes properly. So that's an important interview question. And can I go with the next scenario?
Yeah, we can go.
And one more thing, okay, let me review before I take up the next part. Today we created a local repository using Git init. It created an empty local repository. Then we learned about Git status, right? And then Git add.
Git commit.
commit -m. For modified files, git commit -,
minus AM.
and then git log one
We
line.
can check the history.
History is a Linux command actually. These are Linux commands, which will give the
No,
list
no,
of
no,
commands.
no. I am asking git log command. We can find the history of the previous commands.
Git history command will give you the history of the commands. History and ls cd means change directory. These are very basic Linux commands. We will learn Linux separately. Okay, we have a separate class for Linux, some 2 to 3 sessions where we will learn them separately. For now, if you are not comfortable with them, you can safely use the GUI, like go to the Windows Explorer and do it perfectly fine. These are the commands we have learned today, and of course installing it and all. Okay. And like I told you, this is the main command. Means git commit, add, log. These are the main commands. There will be sub options or sub commands like -a, -m. There were so many of them. Meaning, what I mean is, like if you run git log, okay, it's showing it. That's a main command. You have options or sub commands, whatever you call them, like one line. Like this, there were so many other options. You don't have to learn by heart or memorize all of those because it's not required. No one knows that. That's not possible also. Depending on the project requirement, you can explore and use it. How do you explore? Where is the documentation? Yes, you have documentation by running the command git log help -help. So man page git manual opens for log particularly. It will explain you what is the command, synopsis, description of it. What are all the different options you have? Do you see? Follow, no decorate, decorate, clear decorations. All of those are different options out of which I am using one line. Making sense? Or else if you want to see commits from a particular date to this date, also possible, right? So these are all the different options you have. Right? This is where you can explore it. These are called man pages or manual pages. So that's how you get to use them.
This is git help, right? Git
Command
demo.
and then help. Any command, on any command, like you're asking, right? Is this the any other options available? Is it only M? So to see all the options, command and -help. But like I told you, we never use them, very rarely. But yeah, you should know. Okay, you can explore that. This is how you can search all the different options. We never use all the, I haven't used, majority of the people wouldn't use. But in case at any point of time you want, that's how you can explore. Okay. And that's one way to refer the man pages. And another way is, this is the official documentation for Git where we got the installation steps. Similarly, you can also have the documentation here. Just go to gitscm.com. Okay, this is the reference you have. Documentation. It is free open source. Maybe it was okay. It was changed as learn. Here is the book, right? This is the documentation of different topics here to refer for. Okay, and cheat sheet of Git. Here is the cheat sheet. So these are all the good references, table of contents, okay, documentation. And so what you have to do after this class, like I already have shown you, taken to you through MLMS, complete the quiz. That is to validate and register your learning. Interview questions relevant to this particular day, or just the basic queries you can go through. And then the lab exercise. Lab exercise include installation of Git and whatever commands we have used till now. Everything will be there here. Right? Git init, Git status, Git commit. All the commands were here for your hands-on. You don't have to struggle for the hands-on, because see, this LMS is created by curating all my personal experience into you in using Git or any other tools, right? So this will be helpful. Generally, people would be blocked doing during hands-on. It might be taking so much time where they can't spend time on the hands-on. To overcome this problem, because hands-on is mandatory for DevOps, we have came up with this documentation which will just help you within 10 or 15 minutes. You can complete the hands-on, which is mandatory. Every day completing the hands-on is mandatory. So go through it and complete the hands-on. And already separate private WhatsApp group is created for all the enrolled candidates. Right? I can see people over there. So yeah, any questions? If you are stuck up during your hands-on, feel free to post them in the WhatsApp group.
May I know how many days course duration?
2 months duration. Every day from
Placement
Monday.
support also.
1 second. So yeah, this is not an institute. We don't do placement support. If you have any references in our circle, we'll provide them, we'll share them and across. That's how we do. So we are working professionals who are managing these trainings. This will help you. Will help you in resume building, mock interviews, how to face the interviews in reality, building a custom-made resumes. All of that will help you with.
Okay. Okay. Which
So
cloud will you teach you, and AWS or Azure?
AWS. See, we'll teach DevOps irrespective of the platform. Okay. And as an example of cloud, we are covering it on AWS. It's not cloud specific. AWS is a technology irrespective and platform irrespective. It's a methodology. If anyone haven't attended the class yesterday, I would request you to go through the trial LMS access and watch the yesterday's class where I have answered many such generally asked questions. I think, yeah. So that is about this LMS. Let's come back to our Git. So let's take another interesting scenario before we close for today. Good to go? Any more questions from anyone? Okay. So now, like if you see, we are having two files, right? Let's execute a simple use case. Suppose I'm making some changes to file 2. Okay, any file you can take. I'm just adding some line. Okay, closing it. Now tell me, is this file having some unstaged changes or not? Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's having unstaged changes. File 2 is in unstaged, means where is this file 2?
Working directory.
Working directory. I'm adding it. Okay, it's committed. Now, does the file have any unstaged changes?
No.
Right? So, unstaged changes are not there, but staged changes are there. Staged changes means in the local repository. Now, what I would like to do here is I'm making another modification. I will show you using professional editor tomorrow. Today I'm just using Notepad. Okay. Now, do you see here? The file is also having unstaged changes, right? So the same file can be shown under both staged and unstaged. This is the simple use case. I added one line, I added it, so it's in staging area. Later on, I have added one more line. Obviously, that's not in the staging area. So when you see the same file under both staging and unstaged, don't get confused. This is the simple general use case. Understood the point here? After first line, I run the command git add. So the file is showing in the staging area. Later on, I have added one more line, but that's not yet added. So it's shown in the working directory. You shouldn't confuse seeing the same file under both staging and unstaged. It's quite possible. Got it? It is a bit tricky, but quite possible. Understood the use case, everyone? So as we keep modifying and working with these files, we come across these scenarios. So where you shouldn't get confused because that's quite possible. Clear, everyone? Any questions in this?
Clear. My end is no questions.
Right, thanks for confirming. So that's the simple use case. What you should do, get to commit minus AM, okay, changes done or some commit message. Now if you see status, you are not seeing that file anymore because it's added and committed into local repository. Right? So that is about working directory, staging area, local repository. That's how you navigate your changes across. And till now we have seen creating a file, modifying a file. We can also look into deleting a file, right? That is also a change. So we'll look into that in the next class, deleting a file, different ways of deleting it. So any more questions from anyone till the part I have covered, or any questions in general about the training? As it is a day one way of Git, we'll stop here, allowing you for the setup and the hands-on. Go through your hands-on and the setup. We'll take up from here in the tomorrow's session. Any more questions? You can stay back and put your queries.
Preeti, these classes will be video classes will be lifetime will be accessible.
Yes, all the course material will be available for lifetime. In the LMS, everyday class recording will be available this way. It will be posted here every day. If you missed on any particular day also, you can watch from here. And the access is for lifetime. And whoever registered, please check your LMS access. Please make sure that you are added into the WhatsApp group. Okay, if any help needed, please reach out to Mr. Raj on this WhatsApp number and get registered for the training. Anything else from anyone?
Preeti, you said since we'll be going through AWS, right, for cloud, would we have to take like the AWS account from our end?
Free account. We'll create a free account. I'll tell you when you have to create it.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
walk
So
through the creation in the class, so we'll do it.
so same goes for Terraform, Kubernetes, Ansible.
You don't need to create accounts for those. You just need a
Oh,
free
okay.
account.
Got it.
And
Okay.
install those tools like we installed Git. I'll walk you through every step of those lab setup.
Got it. Okay. Yes.
Hello, Preeti ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Uttam.
Yeah, welcome this side. Actually, I have some personal doubts, so can I talk to you something personally?
Sure, you can. Like once the close this webinar on the Zoom itself, we can talk.
No, so
Also, Preeti, by end of this, after 2 months of this session of yours, would you help us create resume to market our profiles?
Yes, of course. And I would suggest not do it not after the class, after the course. You should start marketing your resume after a month itself. Will help you
Okay.
with it because by the agenda is you should be job ready by the time we complete the course. Not that you start everything after completing the course. Okay, so that's why we are asking for everyday regular practice. So every day you should be doing the practice so that you would be job ready. In a month, we'll be starting working on the resumes.
Also, this is would you go out of your way and give candidates a recommendation for companies to apply jobs for in DevOps?
Like I told you in our circle, if we have any references, we'll forward it.
Okay, okay, makes sense. All right. Also, will this be reference only to certain country or anywhere in states?
Like see in our like where we having a people working right, we are colleagues, our friends, and all whatever circle we references we do forward them. So those are not just India, across also across the
Okay, got it. Thank you.
May I know this course is Monday to Friday or same timings?
Monday to Friday, same timing. Yes, correct. So that is all from my end for today. Thank you all. If no questions, you can all drop off, and Uttam, you can stay back, please. All right then. Thank you all. Good day. Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.